I will never forget that night. It started on the outskirts of my ancestral village in Uttarakhand, India, where my family's old home sits on a hill, surrounded by dense forests. The monsoon had just begun, and the rain had soaked the earth, turning the paths into mud and the air into a mix of wet leaves and damp stone. I was the first to notice the feeling. It wasn't just the storm outside. There was something inside the house, something waiting. My mother, busy in the kitchen, didn't notice the subtle creaks and shifting shadows at first. My younger brother, Arjun, had gone to fetch water from the well outside, and my father was repairing the broken ceiling fan in the living room. The house was quiet, but heavy. It started with small things. The lamp in the corner flickered, even though the electricity was steady. My father dropped a screwdriver that had been lying on the table, and when he bent down to pick it up, a cold draft passed through the room, even with all the windows shut. My mother shivered, pulled her shawl tighter. I tried to tell myself it was the wind outside, the storm, the fatigue. Then came the first sound that made my blood freeze. A soft humming. Low, melodic, almost childlike, but distorted. It seemed to come from the floorboards beneath my feet. I followed it toward the kitchen. The air grew colder with every step, pressing against my chest. The humming stopped as I entered, and for a moment, silence swallowed the house. Arjun returned from the well, drenched, carrying a bucket. He froze at the doorway of the kitchen, staring at the corner where the shadow pooled darkest. I didn't see anything at first, just the angle of the room, the dim light. Then I noticed the bundle of twigs and leaves neatly tied with thread on the floor. It hadn't been there a moment ago. The metallic tang of iron filled the air, and a shiver ran down my spine. My mother noticed it too. She stepped closer, hands trembling, and the bundle seemed to shift, as if alive, sending a faint waft of smoke that smelled like burnt leaves and wet earth. That's when I saw her, a figure, crouched near the far wall. She was small, with sharp features, her hair matted and dark, her eyes black pools that reflected the dim light. She wore tattered clothing, but it seemed to move unnaturally, as though the air around her clung to her form. We froze. The hum began again, this time louder in our heads than in the room. My father grabbed a broom, lifting it instinctively, but his arms shook. She raised a hand, and the humming became a hiss, like the wind through a narrow canyon. The bundle of twigs rolled toward her, almost as if she had summoned it, and the smoke thickened around her like a cloak. The air pressed harder against us, the room feeling smaller, the shadows deeper. My mother whispered a prayer, though I could not hear the words. The figure tilted her head, studying us. Every instinct screamed to run, but the house's hallways seemed to stretch impossibly long. When I turned to grab Arjun, he was frozen in place, staring wide-eyed at her. She moved suddenly, faster than seemed possible, and crouched beside the dining table. I could feel her gaze piercing, measuring. The broom slipped from my father's hands. Every object in the room seemed to vibrate, as though responding to her presence. Then came the shrieking sound, high-pitched, like nails on stone, and it hit my eardrums. My hands covered my ears, but the sound pierced through, deep into my chest. The air thickened, every breath a struggle. She raised both hands, and the bundle of twigs lifted, hovering in the air as though caught in an invisible current. I felt nausea, vertigo, the walls spinning. I tried to move, to pull my family toward the front door, but the floor seemed to pulse beneath our feet, sending tremors of fear through our bodies. Every hallway seemed to twist, and the familiar layout of the house was gone, replaced by shadows, smoke, and impossible corners. Suddenly, the figure was at the center of the living room, standing now, her thin frame stretching unnaturally. She began moving, steps precise, circling the bundle of twigs. I realized she was performing something, ritualistic, deliberate, controlled. And in that moment, I understood. She had been here before us, preparing. The humming and the hiss, the shifting shadows, they were all part of it. My father, trembling, started sprinkling water from a small brass vessel he keeps for puja. The figure recoiled slightly at the scent, and the pressure in the room eased just a fraction. My mother clutched a small packet of salt, sprinkling it along the threshold of the room. She whispered more prayers, faster now, words I did not understand. The figure's head tilted, and for the first time, I saw hesitation in her movements. The smoke around the bundle began to dissipate, curling upward. The hum softened, then stuttered, then stopped entirely. She glared at us one last time, a sharp, calculated gaze, and then slowly, almost reluctantly, she turned toward the corner of the room. I couldn't move my eyes from her. She knelt, gathered the bundle of twigs, and carried it toward the small storage area beneath the stairs. I realized she was leaving, and the air's weight lifted with her retreat. My chest, once tight and burning, relaxed. My father lowered the broom. My mother sat, exhausted, clutching Arjun. The storm outside had not ended, but the house felt lighter, warmer. The shadows receded, normal shapes and corners returning. I stepped toward the storage area, my hands shaking, and found the bundle placed neatly in a corner. No smoke, no presence, only the dry smell of leaves. I realized we had survived, escaped not by fleeing, but by standing together, staying calm, and respecting whatever presence had entered our home. There was no lingering threat, no trace of malevolence beyond the memory. The figure was gone, but the tension, the fear, the awareness of what had been there would remain with us in memory. We spent the rest of the night ensuring every corner of the house was cleared, prayers said, salt sprinkled, water sprinkled. By morning the rain had stopped. Sunlight streamed through the windows, and the house, our home, felt like our own again. The oppressive weight of the night had lifted entirely. That night left its mark, not of terror, but of resilience. I realized that facing the fear together, as a family, we had reclaimed our space. The memory of the witch's presence lingered, yes, but it had been transformed into a story of survival, of unity, of finally finding calm after chaos. The house was ours once more, peaceful, bright, ordinary again.